Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph and this is Ordinary Plant Girl. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you are returning, thank you so much for spending more of your time with me. Sorry if I sound a little nasally. It's just allergy season, so I might just sound a little stuffy, but that's it, just dealing with allergies. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. What I wanted to do was start with the ones right behind me here. So if you follow me on Instagram, which is just under Ordinary Plant Girl, you would see that I've been planting photos. I mean, sure. I've been posting photos there of my Philodendron Florida Ghost, which is up here, and my Reverted Philodendron Florida Beauty and stuff, just because they have gotten absolutely massive. My Florida Ghost has grown so much just in the past few months, especially since I put in that Sandsy grow light. Some of you may know that I didn't get the ghost leaves that are typical of the Florida Ghost at first. I was kind of getting more minty green colored leaves, which was fine by me. It didn't really matter. But since putting in that light, and because it's getting taller and getting closer to the light, it seems like I'm getting more ghosty leaves, which is amazing. But what I want to do is I kind of want to go over my Philodendron Florida collection, if that's going to make sense to you. Not all of them are Floridas, but they do have the same growth pattern and kind of leaf shape. I'm going to kind of spin you around to my big girthy girls here, and we are going to get started. Okay, now I can make you taller, but is that gonna, okay, hang on. All right. As she so graciously pokes me in the head. Hang on, I'm just trying to make sure I can get the best kind of angle for you, sort of. Okay, I think we're gonna stick with this. Okay, so you can see right here, this was one of the last leaves that I got from her. So I'll put in some B-roll too, just so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But here is my Florida Ghost. So you can see here, this is the second to last leaf that she gave me, and it is just starting to, well, it's starting to turn green, like harden off to that deep green that we know with this plant. Up here, I'm not sure if you can see, well, yeah, you sort of can. This is the newest leaf that just came out, and you can already see that this one is just starting to harden off to green, just starting on the edges of the leaves. Okay, so how long have I had this one? I'll put it on the screen because I'm actually kind of doing this video a little impulsively. Like, this was not planned. I got so excited when I was posting pictures and video on Instagram last night that I decided that I kind of wanted to showcase them and talk about them a little bit. So that's why I'm here. I will also put in B-roll of what I'm going to show you here. Here we are at the base of the plant. So if you go all the way in here, you can see how small this was. And I mean, it wasn't even really small compared to most of the philodendrons and stuff that I get. This was a little bit bigger than normal, but as she grew all the way up here, and you won't be able to really see it because of these, but you can, you can see how much thicker she gets on the way up until we are now here. Now, that is pretty thick and sticky. Because something else with this plant, as much as I love it, the only other drawback to this is, can you see all those little droplets there? That's the ectofloral nectaries. So it is something that the plant secretes, hoping to attract ants and you know, aid in pest treatment. But I do have to say that this plant does not have any pests. It gets showered off every 1 to 2 weeks, and I pest treat it at the same time. So, oh crap. Oh, so we are pretty much in that preventative mode. So if I step back, you can see just how big she is. Next one is my Reverted Philodendron Florida Beauty. And I think what I can do for this, if I clean off my table a little bit here, I will move her because you're not actually going to be able to get a good view of her over here. So we're going to move her so that you can see her better. We're going to grab her. So she's a little heavy because I actually did a pole extension on her yesterday. I don't even know if we're going to get the full effect of this. No, we are definitely not. So this is what I will do. I will just take you off the tripod this time. So this is my Reverted Philodendron Florida Beauty. We're gonna bring you a little closer. Okay, so this is one of the largest leaves. This is the last leaf that I got off of her, and it's the largest leaf so far. And I was told that variegation could possibly come back on this plant, so I'm kind of hoping it does. I had a little bit of a watering issue or something. I don't know what happened there. I think it's edema that happened with that one. I've just got some spots on the leaves down here. But yesterday I decided to do an extension because if you can see, which you can't because there's a leaf in the way, I had to extend the pole right here because this had actually gone over the top of the pole and was not like hooked onto anything. So you're gonna see I have a tiny wee little piece of a Philodendron Splendid in there just because I had kind of abruptly a few weeks ago chopped up my Splendid, and this one piece was kind of hooked into the moss. I was going to take it apart and pull this one out and replant it, and then when I saw that this needed a pole, I just left it there. So it's literally just hanging out in the moss. If it lives, it lives. If it dies, it dies. I think it would be interesting if it lives to see if it gets any bigger itself. But I do have this plant on 3 D-shaped moss poles. I don't know if I'm going to extend it any taller. One of the things I'm not sure if you noticed with the Philodendron Florida Beauty is that it is not attached to the stake at all. It's supported by the stake, but it's not attached to the stake. So with that, it's sizing up without needing a moss pole. And I think what I'm gonna end up doing with the Florida Ghost, because I don't know if you'll be able to see this, I will take B-roll and insert it as well. But there are roots all the way through this pole. And actually over here, these top roots were starting to move upwards. So I'm kind of glad that I extended the pole when I did. But the pole was leaning, which makes me a little bit nervous, but that's okay. So yeah, the next time I think, I don't know if I would go more than 3 high with these moss poles, especially since they're on medium poles. But when it does get to the point where it's at the top of this pole, or possibly the next pole if I extend it that far, I think what I'll probably do is I will actually just put it on a stake. Number one, as much as I love moss poles, when you regularly water them, as you should, there's an increase of fungus gnats. I don't particularly like that part. But for the most part, it's under control, so it is what it is. If you look though at the internodal spacing on this compared to the Florida Ghost, you'll see down here, started with kind of a wee little thing. And actually the internodal spacing was closer together, which is funny because it just used to sit off to the right here. And then as we're going along, it's getting longer. And look at that, there's another growth point coming out there. There's another growth point right there. And I actually think the Florida Ghost has another growth point too coming out somewhere. But anyway, so the internodal spacing is literally getting further apart. I don't know why that is, but I guess we'll see. Here's the newest leaf that is just unfurling. And it'll expand a little bit. This leaf will expand a little bit further as it goes. And really, I'm just interested to see what this little Splendid's gonna do up there, because if anything, I mean, right now I've got so many cuttings of the Philodendron Splendid. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with those yet, but today is not about the Splendid. Today is about the Floridas. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this one back. It's gonna be tough too, because she does have a root. Oh, she has a few roots coming out of the bottom, but she's not root bound yet, so I haven't moved her. And I finally found a soil mix that my philodendrons actually like. So we'll have to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna just put her back in her spot over here. So the only thing about having this plant over here, like right next to the Florida Ghost, is that every time I move either one of them, and I do shower them regularly, anytime I move either one of them, putting them back is always like a little bit of a chore, just to make sure that none of their leaves are crushed and everything. But it, I love this corner. Okay, so we're gonna move down a little bit here to the next one. Okay, my Monstera subpinatum, which still needs to be repotted. It's gonna have to move out of the way so that I can get to this one. Okay, so this one down here, my Turner, this one here is just my simple Philodendron Florida Green. So this I just bought from a big box store. Still needs a shower. And I literally chopped this one to pieces, pretty much. I have pieces of this one that are actually in a self-watering planter on the wall, and it's kind of trailing. I decided to let that one trail and see what happened. But this one has got, this is kind of the main plant here, and it's got a few little wispy baby ones down here, which really don't seem to be doing much. I could cut them, but then, you know, it's, I don't really see the point, really. I'm just gonna let it grow and see how it does. But they, this one has just been kind of a steady little grower, but it doesn't grow as fast as these two, and it's probably because it is not as close to the light. It actually sits underneath it, like this is a canopy over top of it. But it is slowly starting to get bigger leaves. This is the biggest leaf. Oh, actually, no. This one you can't see. Oh yeah, you can sort of see it. This one down here is actually the biggest leaf on the plant. Has the best leaf shape, but because I cut it, it kind of reverted back to a juvenile state, and it's kind of been growing back on its own. It is secreting a little bit, but not nearly as much as the Florida Ghost. Like the Florida Ghost constantly needs to be rinsed off. And I should probably shower them. Well, the Florida Beauty already got a shower yesterday, but the Florida Ghost and probably this one, I'll throw in and give them little showers, rinse them off a little bit. So next, I'm gonna show you one that is not technically a Florida, but will have that leaf shape eventually. And that one is my Philodendron squamiferum. So although she may not be a Florida by name, eventually she's going to have a similar leaf shape. So there's actually two plants in this pot. It's actually pretty light, so I should probably water it, but there are actually two plants in this pot. They've been cut repeatedly, so that's why all these leaves are still juvenile. They haven't really expanded to anything other. I think this one here was the closest that I got to a even remotely more mature leaf. But then, as I said, I had to cut it, so we kind of started a little bit over from scratch. But I do think that the position that it's in and the mix that it's now in is going to help with that, because all I did really was I simplified my aeroid mix. So I used to put everything in it. There would be orchid bark, perlite, charcoal, vermiculite, pumice, soil. Sometimes I'm even mixing coco coir. And all I've done now is I've completely went and simplified that recipe to just simply potting soil, orchid bark, and perlite. That's it. Every now and then, depending on what plant it is, because the potting soil does have fertilizer in it, but every now and then, depending on what plant I'm dealing with, I will throw in like some worm castings or something like that. But besides that, these guys are starting to grow really well. This pole it's damp, not overly, it's pretty close to getting dry. I don't actually see any active rooting in here though, so I don't know. I don't actually think, no, it's not attached. Oh no, it is attached up here. Okay, so this one up here is attached. Oh, I've got this one pinned in, so I can't actually tell you if that one's attached. But, so this is my Philodendron squamiferum, and I'm waiting for it to get huge so I can get those really, really big, fuzzy, where are you gonna focus here? Hang on, just wants to focus on that front leaf. You can see some of the hairs here, and the bigger it gets, the bigger those will get too. Like even just, actually this is pretty fuzzy really, if you look at it. But yeah, so that's that. No! Oh no. Leave it to me to have chaos ensue when I do something spontaneously that I didn't plan on doing. And my Philodendron micans that's on a moss pole just took that hit. But you know what? We're just gonna leave her down there for now. Because I'm one plant away, I think, from finishing this, and then I can get her and hope that she's okay. So moving on. So the next one that I have, which is actually, I'm thinking, I'm going to turn you a little bit towards me here. What I'm thinking is today, maybe what I'll do is, this is my Philodendron Florida Bronze. Now I had a hard time with this plant in the beginning. It died and it was in a prop box for, oh wow, like the better part of a year. It was in a prop box. Again, I changed my mix. I can still see that this one seems to have coco coir in it. So this one's gonna be changed out just because I think that this mix was, I don't think there's any potting soil in this mix. I think it was worm castings, perlite, coco coir, and orchid bark. And I mean, as much as this plant is actually starting to grow now, which is awesome, I'm so glad that it's finally starting to grow, I do want to get it in a different mix. And I can actually see some Dynamico in here too. I must have, that's something I would also put in my coco coir mixes, was Dynamico, so maybe that has also helped in this situation. But it's starting to root really well. So the thing is though, is that I want to be able to get it on a stake, right? But I don't want to take it out of this pot yet because it's not, like it's just started rooting. Even though I want to change the mix, I don't think that that's necessarily something I should do right now. I don't want to disturb it too much. So here are my choices. My choices are, I can either just, for now, put it on a chopstick until it grows more roots, or I can get a stake, because it's not going to be on a moss pole. I can get a stake and put it on the outside of the pot until it's ready to be transplanted or repotted, and then put it all in the new pot together. But in order to do that, see, now I'm thinking about it, but if I did that, it wouldn't be close enough, I think, to the stake to make, yeah, it wouldn't be close enough. It would be quite the stretch. So maybe just putting it on the chopstick, but then I also don't want to break roots when I put the chopstick in there. But I guess I'm gonna have to, aren't I? So that's probably what I'll do with this guy so far. Another reason why I don't want to disturb it is if you can see the very top of the tip there, it's starting to put out another new leaf. And that's awesome because it just put out this leaf maybe a week or so ago. And it comes out this gorgeous bronze color. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. I think I have one more around here, and it's an unknown philodendron, but I do think that it is a member of this family. And that is, I've got this one here, and this is, I've just got it labeled as a philodendron unknown, but it does look like it could use a little bit of a change up. It's not root bound at all, but it does have roots coming out of the bottom. So maybe I'll just resituate it kind of into another pot. And since I broke that leaf off, I mean, what do I got to lose at this point? But I have no idea what this is. None. But I feel like, if I can vaguely remember, but I feel like it is a member of this family. I think so. So this one I will, you know what, if I do, I probably will, but if I do move this one over, maybe I will put this one on a moss bowl and kind of see how it does. We're gonna figure this one out, and I think I have to go save my, Mycans. I can't even believe I did that. Can't believe I did that at all. This was just a little short, like I said, impromptu video. I was thinking about them and how much I love them, and I was like, you know what, I just want to share that with you guys. I'm glad that you guys, if you're still here, I'm glad that you're still here. Please consider subscribing to my channel. But with all that being said, and I'm literally going to say it again in like a second, I hope you are all safe and well. Please like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.